Yep, there we are.
Hello. Hello. Hopefully you can hear some audio. And as soon as you can hear some audio, we'll go.
I can hear audio.
Good.
And I don't really hear anything annoying in the background, so...
Now, am I hearing the audio through your phone there? Yeah?
Yeah, through the laptop, yeah.
Okay. Right, and we'll just check this. We heard that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where are those signs? Oh, that's loud.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we'll do this thing.
Alrighty, sounds like a plan.
I'll take a drink first.
Probably a good idea. Steady the nerves.
Well, I shall silence my phone.
Did I do that? Instead of
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm going to be making stuff up on the fly. So
Well,
this will be a fast. It'll be a fast show tonight. Fast show, summertime. Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly? I think we're just getting started. I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
Sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey, good evening. This is the Overseas Connection podcast, and it is the 11th of July, 2021. This is episode 639 of this fabulous video gaming podcast. It's probably the best video gaming podcast in the world. Well, ever. Absolutely ever. I mean, who would have known? And we go out live pretty much about 9 o'clock every single week. And that's about 9 o'clock in the UK, 1 p.m. in the West Coast, 4 p.m. in the East Coast, 3 p.m. Central Time, which is, of course, the most important time. And it's just me and Kim tonight. Hi, Kim.
hiya.
I'm okay. I am coming in hot tonight, literally in many ways. We'll find out in a second. All about that. So all the crew are off. It's a football spectacular tonight. Soccer for our American listeners. It is the final of the European Cup, and England are in that final for the first time, a major final, I don't know, in 40 years or 50 years, some ridiculous amount of figure they haven't been in a final. And when I left the house, it was just before half time. I had it on in the corner, and England were 1 goal up. So we're not going to keep an eye on that, I don't think, tonight. Let's just wish them all the very best. It'll either be beer or pasta tonight, one or the other. So Mark and Phil and all the English crew they wanted to watch the football. Greg is up visiting his folks up in Reno. He may pop in. He may. But unlikely, but safe travels. Okay, birthday wise, we have David Morty is his birthday. Happy birthday to you, fella. I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is the 11th of July, and I'll talk a bit more about the 11th of July in a few seconds. But David, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. That one.
Happy birthday!
Find the right button.
To you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday! Insert name here. Happy birthday to you!
Gentleman was not recognized.
Cool. Okay, and we'll go straight to this.
Hooray, it's story time. Hooray, it's story time. I'm so glad to be with you today.
Wow. I'm here. I know we're a couple of minutes late, Kim. I apologise profusely. you're there with your lovely hair, and the thing about it is, I don't know if you talked about it last week, but did you talk calendars last week? Was that?
No, because I wasn't online.
Ah, of course not.
Since the end of June sometime.
How did that happen?
Like
Yeah.
I know, just everything.
Is it-
You know,
Mark-
birthday, and then I had a family reunion, and then the 4th of July, so.
Mark's rubbing off on you.
I know, right? I'm sorry, I admit it. Yeah, but no, so it's been a while, so it is July, we have new calendars, so, here we are.
Oh wow.
We have, Robin Wilder in our, Pussy and Text catalog.
He's my brother. That's my cousin, Robin. Is he really? Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well, he's not too bad, so, you know, he did well. And then we have everybody's favorite Commander Shepard.
Oh, but a Witcher Shepherd.
Yeah, well, yeah, sort of. So, yeah, those are our calendars for, this month, so, yay!
Yeah. Cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So look, I'm coming in hot and I'm a bit ill prepared, because we left the house. It's in Northern Ireland, Northern Mexico. It's a public holiday tomorrow here, the 12th of July. It is that time when the Protestant community celebrate a battle that happened in 1690, and there's lots of band parades tomorrow. And at 1 minute past midnight tonight, or a few seconds past midnight, they light a lot of bonfires. And most little villages have one. Some of these things in the bigger towns are 10 and 15 stories high. These things get ridiculously big. Mostly wooden pallets and old junk and drinking and some bad lads. Not it's always great atmosphere. But so that's all happening. I don't take an awful lot to do with it, but yes, it's a public holiday here in Northern Ireland tomorrow. So, and I've taken the whole week off. So yesterday, and one of our lads is away for a full week's respite, so we're on proper holiday, even though we're not going anywhere. So yesterday we did took the kids to a big bouncy castle place, big indoor bouncy place, and we went to a nice place for lunch, and that was lovely. And then today we got up really early, not really early, but we left the house, a full load of kids, at 9 a.m. this morning. Well, we wanted to leave at 9. We left at 9:05. That was really good for us. It's like herding cats with a load of, with a 7-seater filled, and we headed to the beach. And there's a beach day planned with our whole group. So just 2 sisters and their husbands and all their kids. So I sent a photograph earlier on of this the windbreaker thing on the beach. It looked like a homeless encampment in LA. There's about 10 windbreakers in this big semicircle. And on our way, we went to this beach. It's called Castle Rock. It's about 3/4 of an hour drive from here. Miles of pure white, beautiful sand at the Atlantic Ocean, cold. But on the way there, it was raining so heavily this morning. Horrible mist, rain. I've gone, no way is this a beach day. No! But we got through the rain. It was Florida cloudy for most of the day, but it was warm. It was 20-21 degrees, which is pretty good here, so it was very pleasant. And then late afternoon there it got scorching. We had fish and chips on the beach about 5 o'clock, and we played around a little bit more, and then we packed up and scarpered. We got everybody home. We brought half the beach with us by the looks of the bottom of the bath and the showers in the house. There's sand everywhere. The kids are down. The football is on in the room in the other house, or in the house. And we've had a good couple of days, and more of the same tomorrow. I've got to feel a bit scorcho up here. Yeah. So I had the paddleboard out. So the paddleboard's now been in Italy. It's been in the Loch Earn internal waterway here, and I had it in the Atlantic Ocean pretty much today as well. And I had the wetsuit on, and I looked like this big whale bounding down the beach. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. God, that water, I would hate. I remember as a kid being in there all the time without a wetsuit on. I don't know where my parents have, we didn't have things like wetsuits when I was a kid. You just went in, and when you gargled, you felt your testicles in your throat. It was so cold. They just went in so far. Yeah. The kids all had a really good time. They're all knackered. We got an ice cream on the way home, and there'll be more of the same all week. I think we're going to try and because we're not going away anywhere at the moment. Just stuff. But we hope to have a wee day. We're going to do a day's karting somewhere. There's a place called Slieve Donard and a place called Newcastle. Not the English Newcastle, but Newcastle, Northern Ireland, with some big high mountain peaks. And we're going to take them down there maybe for a day and go up it. And so, yeah. And probably, I think, the beach again tomorrow, if it's nice enough, to a place called White Rocks, where it's a Game of Thrones set as well. And I had Greg down there briefly as well when he was over here. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's good. I've been so busy with work, Kim, that I haven't had time for me, really. I was doing internal. I had a big meeting with my directors on Thursday afternoon, and had to wait for hear the outcome of that, even though I'm off all week. But I may get called in to do have another chat with the board of directors later on this week, hopefully, for things that are maybe going to change with me in the company. So yeah, just busy. So it's just nice. The phone is redirected, my emails are redirected. I literally am trying to try and unplug for the 5 days if I can.
That'll do you some good.
Yeah. So yeah, busy and now on holidays. What about you?
Well, I've been on here for like the last 3 weeks.
Where the hell have you been?
I've got poison ivy twice in the same month. I don't suggest that.
What do you mean you've got poison ivy? You touched poison ivy? We don't really have that here. We don't have it at all.
Yeah, I went after a kitten, and to get it out of this mess of bushes and stuff it was in, well, there was poison ivy in it.
Uh-huh.
So guess what? I got poison ivy. Well, it finally cleared up, and not.
Sorry. So what does it do? Is it a rash?
Yeah, it's a rash. It oozes and.
Ooh, okay.
And yeah, it's not real fun. And then maybe 2 weeks later, I got it again because apparently the first time I didn't learn my lesson, so I felt like, hey, let's do it again.
Oh no.
This time it broke out. Oh yeah, it broke out all over my leg, my left leg. The rash is gone, but there's still a red mark there from where the rash was. So I'm still waiting for that to heal up. So yeah, you know. So I'm not gonna get poison ivy again. I made the comment the other day that if they dropped Chris Hemsworth in a batch of poison ivy, I wasn't going after him. So, you know, it was that bad. So.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. I'd like to see that in video. There's a new TV program dropping people in poison ivy, and then piranha fish next, and then crocodiles next, and that would be cool. Yeah, that's the way we're going. How was your 4th of July?
The 4th of July was good. We had all sit around here and drink a little bit, and you know, ate a little bit, and watched the fireworks go up. So it was good. We were all back in the house by probably 11:30, midnight, somewhere in there. So it was a good night for everybody, I think.
Good.
So all the family showed up with all the kids, and you know, there was a go-kart that was running around here. So.
Yeehaw!
Yeah, right.
It was like a country 4th of July.
Pretty much. The only thing we didn't have out was the shotguns or anything like that. But I'm sure somebody probably did somewhere. So.
And I seen the photographs of Greg going out for the day, and they had the 4th of July parades in Lincoln as well. And you never, these days it's odd to even think that. Not odd. It's lovely to see people still celebrating, even in California, where it seems to be all of a sudden. A lot of people seem to hate your country. It's very weird. It's a very weird, very, very weird. Looking from the outside in, it looks very, very odd. So yeah, there's mean tweets being sent everywhere. Yeah, do you like this? Do you like this new T-shirt? Isn't this cool?
That's very nice.
I do like that. I went to the cinema on Wednesday evening, Thursday evening, can't remember. One evening, it must have been Friday evening. It must have been. First time at the cinema in 2 years. We were. I'll get to that. It was a multiplex cinema, and this film was in a smaller one of the cinemas, and we had the cinema room completely to ourselves until about 5 minutes in, and 2 other people joined us. So there was about 8 of us went. So there was me and Charlie, my 15-year-old, my mate Simon, and my other mate Matthew, and we all had kids with us about 14, 15 years old. It's a 15 age limit film, and we went to see The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife.
Nice.
So The Hitman's Bodyguard is very funny. It's pretty rude, a lot of bad language in it, and very, very funny. Well, expect more of the same from The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife. Yeah, with Samuel L. Jackson, and of course our Salma Hayek, and what do you call him? Rand Reynolds. Yes, and we have a few other top line celebrity actors appear in this as well. And I laughed. In fact, they commented afterwards that the funniest thing in the whole film was me laughing all the way through the film, because I just laughed into tears. I haven't laughed so much in a long, long time. Now, some of the laughter was at the funnies in the movie, and quite a lot of the funnies was laughing at myself and Simon and Matthew at how awkward we felt at the subject matter of the movie. You know, fucking that hole, fuck this hole, fuck that hole, fuck your sperm, fuck this, we're trying to have anal, fucking fuck, and I'm cringe. 14-year-old girls, yeah, okay, yeah. So we were laughing at that awkward situation there, but it was very, you know, it's very, very funny. I was a bit apprehensive because the first one was so original and fun, but it is stupid and over the top and rude and crazy, but just an absolute hoot. So I would thoroughly recommend the Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife. Now, other stuff that I've been at this week, because I've been coming home quite late work-wise and just watched a bit of TV on the Prime Videos. Worth a watch, Chris Pratt and The Tomorrow War. It's an Amazon movie. Chris Pratt. It's kind of aliens have attacked in the future, and they've opened up some sort of time gate, and people in the future have sent people back to ask for volunteers to go forward in time to help save the universe. Again, I'm going, well, why didn't they just stop it happening in the first place? But no matter, it's a good romp. It's a pretty good, Chris Pratt's good, and there's a few laughs in it, and it's an interesting movie. It's on Amazon, and it's free on Amazon, so it's again worth your time, and that's worth a watch. And the other thing that I've been listening to in the car a little bit while I've been driving is audiobook, The Hunger Games. And it's not just a retelling of the movie. It's through the eyes only of Katniss, of the main character. So there's no talk of you know, what's going on, and they don't talk, you know, the narrator doesn't talk about what's happening in the main city or what's happening in other parts. It's all of it is from her experience, and it's like her telling the story. So it's a really interesting retelling of the Hunger Games, and you get a lot more of her, what was going on in her head, what she's thinking, and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's if you like the Hunger Games, it's quite interesting. It's not fan fiction; it does follow the main story, but a lot of the sneaky stuff that's going on with the big boss man and stuff, you don't know about. It's just like her telling of it. So it's yeah. So it's that's kind of interesting. Yeah. And tonight I'm just I'm slumming it with a Morgan spiced.
Oh, there you go.
And I've got a beer over here. I've been through my bottle of Bumbu. I bought a bottle of Bumbu. Bottle of Bumbu seems to do me a week now, so it seems to be all
Oh,
right.
that's good.
Hmm.
You're pacing yourself there. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. So the Morgan spiced is pretty good. It's all right. It's cheap, I suppose, compared to.
As long as you like it, that's the important thing.
I do like it lots. Congratulations to Richard Branson today. Richard, this morning UK time. Was it 2 o'clock today? Maybe early US time. He went up into space. So is he the first multi-millionaire to go up into space, probably, or the first billionaire businessman type person, really? So fair play to him. He's went up. He's 70 odd years old now, So fair play to him. A real, some people like him or hate him, but I think he's an absolute legend from where he came from and all the things he's got involved with. Very inspirational. I've read some of his autobiography books, and I think they're absolutely fantastic reading, and all the challenges and things that he came through. Congratulations. I think Jeff Bezos, a couple of months ago, the owner of Amazon, announced he was going to go up in his penis-shaped spaceship. And then just shortly after that, Branson said, well, I'm going up a few weeks beforehand. And of course Branson says, no, it's just pure coincidence. That was just the way it worked out, because he was asked, was it a race? But of course it was, because he will always have that first title of, and it's not the first commercially. So anyway, again, his little plane looks more like a little private jet than anything else. But brilliant.
Like a penis?
Jeff Bezos. Did nobody ever tell him that thing just looks like a penis?
I guess not.
Seriously, I mean, do you understand what I mean by that? You've seen the shape of this thing. I mean, really, he sits in the tip of the penis. Well, it goes up. Anyway,
Little mental thing there. I don't know.
I think all of this space travel stuff is all very exciting again. I mean, I'm a '69 baby, so we missed the space race stuff, but I've always been very, very interested. And for me, the space shuttle program, that's the thing that really got me. I was a young lad and watching nearly all of those launches live, including the ones that didn't go so well. That's an understatement. And re-entries. So this here again rekindles all of that in me. I just love all this stuff. I think it's exciting, and the pace that this is moving at the moment is phenomenal. So I look, the next few years is going to be pretty cool. I don't think I'll be up in space, but I don't know. I mean, will they go to Mars? Will they go back to the moon? Will the Chinese do it first? Who knows? Who knows, Kim? Who knows? All right. So this will be probably quite a short show tonight. It's the middle of the summer. There's only the two of us. We're just having a chat, and we are going to talk some games stuff here now, and we'll not talk about any news tonight, but we'll have a chat about where we started, I think, gaming wise as well. But let's get some stuff like games with gold and new releases and what we've been playing together. Okay. So
shall we play a game?
I want to play a game.
You are one pathetic loser.
Ooh. If there's a hum with me, I apologize. I'm struggling in the last couple of weeks to understand why this audio is playing up. I've changed everything. Don't understand. But if you're not listening to this live, which is, there's not many people listening to it live right now because they're all watching bloody football, I will remove a lot of the hum in edit. So okay, games with gold and stuff. There, we sort of went through this last week, but it'll not do any harm if you could rattle through that again, Kim, while I drink more rum.
Okay, sure, I can do that. Alright, your games with gold for July are Planet Alpha, now through the 31st, Rock of Ages 3 Make or Break, which is available the 16th to August 15th, Conquer Live and Reloaded, which is available now to the 15th, and Midway Arcade Origins, which is available the 16th to the 31st. And then for you PlayStation Plus people out there, there is a Plague Tale Innocence. That's the PS5 version. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 for the PS4, and WWE 2K Battlegrounds for the PS4. Well, you can tell I haven't been on here for a while. I'm all over myself. Holy moly. Alrighty. For your Twitch Prime games, we have Batman, The Enemy Within, the Telltale series, Rad, The Wanderer, Frankenstein's Creature, Tales of the Neon Sea, Automachef? Something like that. Portal Dogs, and Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition.
Oh.
I know there's people out there that rave about that game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think I sort of kind of left that too long for me. I know it's a classic game and the story and all, but yeah.
I kind of agree with you because I got it for, the PlayStation crazy there. I don't know. I played it for about 15 minutes and then I stopped. I don't know. I know it's supposed to be hilarious and all that.
Yeah, I did get a bit of it, but. Yeah.
Your Stadia Pro for July, we have Moonlighter, Street Power Football, Terraria, and the Dark Side Detective. So there's that. And for your Epic Game Store for this week until the 15th, we have Bridge Constructor, The Walking Dead. Walking Dead? They're all sitting there in rocking chairs. Anyway, Iron Path, and then you have Abduction, and I'm scrolling, there's a break there. Off-World Trading Company, which will be next week. It'll be July 15th, was a week, I think, if they would go for. So there's your Epic Games. So go get your free games, people.
There you go. Okay, right. Damn it! I've just locked myself out of Twitter. Somebody is getting a verification code right now. Probably. That's probably Greg. Greg.
Probably.
Okay, so those are the new releases. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some good stuff there. Now, sort of in newsy stuff, there was a rumor, and I think it is a rumor, but it was a newsy thing this week, and that's the only part of news that we're going to talk about at all. Is there's a game about games with gold being scrapped, so it's going to just come part of the overall Game Pass thing now. So,
That'd be nice.
yeah, and then they may turn around and say, well, for multiplayer stuff you don't need anything, a bit like the Sony. Isn't that what happens with Sony? Isn't that right? Yeah, so that'll probably happen with that, and then but the main thing is Game Pass. So okay, yeah, I've done nothing game wise. I have had no time, zero time this week, zero, and I haven't been out here at all. I've been traveling a lot, as I say, and I've had no game time whatsoever. So it's all over to you.
Yeah, because I've kind of made up for that the last couple of weeks. So hey, I've actually got to play some games. So yeah, we'll start off. And I know Mark and Greg did a podcast with us here a while back, but I started Dark Alliance, and I haven't got far because, well, I didn't realize that when you set up camp, that actually gave you a save point.
Huh.
I kept avoiding setting up camp, so every time I died, I'd have to start over. So yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of raving about this Dark Alliance thing at the moment. So
Yeah, and I mean, I was kind of worried. I mean, I wanted to play it, but then I was kind of worried when it came out because they were talking about how glitchy it was and terrible and yada yada yada, and the reviews weren't very good. But I haven't come across any of that. I mean, for me, it's played really well. So the only glitch on my end was me because, like I said, I didn't realize you could put a camp down and it would save your spot. So you wouldn't have to start all over and all that, which is nice. So. But I can definitely see where it's a multiplayer, more of a multiplayer game. I mean, you can go through it by yourself, but I can see where you'd have more fun with other people. So maybe sometime we can set one of those up. But yeah. So if you're into the whole Dungeons and Dragons and Dark Elf and all that stuff, give it a shot. It's on Game Pass, so you've got nothing to lose.
oh my goodness.
I mean, you have Game Pass.
Okay. You've been playing golf with friends. That seems to be like that was a 4th of July type game. Is that correct?
Yeah. The funny thing is, I'm not playing with my friends. I'm playing by myself. Because to be honest, it's easy to get achievements in that game.
Okay, it's fun, but
yeah, it's fun and everything, and you've got that Microsoft rewards thing, and of course they give you more points if you get like achievements and stuff. Well, that's my go-to game when I need to unlock like 3 or 4 achievements to finish off a Microsoft rewards thing, because it's just so easy to get achievements on that game. So I did play with Tony, and we both figured out we're shitty golfers. So there was that.
I doesn't think it matters a lot. Mark and Greg and I played this one night and had a little bit of laugh with it. So yeah, it's good. Again, it's not one of those things you went out and bought, but there it is.
No, sure, but there it is on Game Pass. So I tried it out, and yeah, there's not much to it. It's miniature golf.
Miniature golf and cartoony worlds and silliness and crazy shots, crazy golf. Yeah.
How many times you hit it out of bounds? I think me and Anthony did that on one. We just, for some odd reason, we couldn't make it go, so we just kept hitting the damn thing out of bounds.
The multiplayer, so the multiplayer isn't really turnabout. It's like everybody goes at once, So you just keep on going, and then you just catch up at the end of the whole sort of thing. So it is a bit crazy. Everybody's sort of ghosted, so it's a bit kind of crazy that way. So it's a bit of fun.
Yeah, 'cause he couldn't figure it out at first. He kept thinking he had his own controller, and I'm like, no. So we had to keep swapping controllers back and forth. So
Oh,
that was good for him.
oh, and he's into his gaming in a big way. I mean, probably now he loves it.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh,
funny.
yeah, he's big on it, especially if it's a game we can play together. He's all about that. So
When we
pretty soon when my next game, we fired up the old Gear 3 the other day.
oh,
So
and do you put it on the soft mode to sort of switch off the goer, or is he a real?
yeah, well, not really.
Uh,
He sit there and watch me play Witcher 3, so he's kind of
Okay.
used to all that.
Yeah.
So
You bad mum.
I let it go. I'm a bad aunt, I guess. But
Cool aunt,
so-
probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because
He's
it,
already beaten 4. He played through
Right.
4 and beat it, and I think I don't know if he finished 5 or not, but he got pretty close. He
Okay.
got a lot farther than I've gotten in it. So anyway, we fired up Gears 3 because by far that's like my favorite.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we did a little co-op with that the other day, so he really seemed to enjoy it. So it's kind of nice being back in the old shoes again. So.
It is that kind of perfect multiplayer game. I mean, the characters have heft and weight. I know that sounds odd with some of the controller, but they do feel beefy, and they do feel like you're bouncing into stuff, and just something good about the playing co-op with 2 or 3, 4 people. It is really, really good fun. And again, that's where we had so much fun again in the in the horde mode stuff as well. You know, and getting to level 50, and the Brumac comes out, and oh no! Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so yeah, I like that.
Excited when I load mine up and my character's like a 52 or 53, and he's like, "You really have that?" I said, "Yeah, it's been a while, but we played the hell out of this game when it came out. There was many nights of Horde.
Too right.
Many nights of Horde. So,
Nicole's speciality as well, wasn't it?
right? Yep. Yeah, she was really good about leading us through the co-op, through the campaign, and then showing us where all the cog tags were and all the little
Yeah.
stuff you could pick up, so the achievement and all that. So she was really good with that.
I think I'm shy of what is the levels? It's like the really hard mode. There's an underwater level in a submarine, I think, or something in that one. Wasn't it 3? We had the submarine, and there was an achievement playing on the hardest mode, and I think that's the only one that I haven't got to unlock the super ridiculous, and I couldn't get anybody. I had to do it with 3 other people, so hard to get. Yeah, that's a great game. That's a really good game. And I see you've got Witcher 3 back up here again.
I have.
Huh.
Saturday, I think. I think it was Saturday or Friday. Anyway, the 9th, whatever day that was. That was Friday. They had Netflix had WitcherCon.
Okay.
And they were, they told you when the next season of Witcher was going to be out and all sorts of things. They had interviews with the cast and all that. And I don't know, it kind of scratched that Witcher itch, and I haven't, which I think there's a claim for. But anyway, and I haven't finished the big DLC for that, the Blood and Wine DLC, and there was some other stuff I hadn't done, like I hadn't finished all the Witcher contracts and that sort of thing. So I don't know, I had a Witcher itch to scratch, and today I finished the Witcher contracts, got the achievement for that. And so yeah, right now I'm just going around collecting all the Witcher gear, and I don't know, there was a couple of big monster contracts that had achievements tied to them that apparently I hadn't done yet, and I finished those today. So yeah, I'm back at it. I'm gonna try to finish all that stuff off, and then I guess I'll jump into the DLC and do that.
so-
Question mark.
It just put you in the mood. It just put you in the mood.
Pretty much.
Yeah, sometimes you like that.
Games anyway, 'cause like I said, I started the Dark Alliance and I didn't get far with that, so I haven't really gotten into that yet. I was kind of in between games, and I thought, well, I haven't finished that one yet, not fully, so.
Go into the comfortable game. I will be going back to my Mass Effect. I'm having a ball with my Mass Effect, but it's time.
I know. Yeah,
Um,
that's me. Mine's freed up a little bit since I don't have Colton anymore, but I do have Anthony. But then Anthony likes to game, so that helps me because then we can hop on the Xbox and we can game and play stuff. So I'm getting a little more back into it. So that's nice.
Yeah. Okay. Kim, I wanted to sort of talk about, for people that really haven't, maybe that they're new and haven't heard this bit before, about, well, first of all, where you're from, but your gaming history and how you got started with that, and your first memories of getting started with gaming, and let's spitball about that for a little bit. So you are for the UK people on the map of the US. If we're looking at the map of the US, are you left, right, middle, top, bottom, or where would you be in the US?
I'm in Arbela, Missouri, and I'm in the northeast corner of Missouri. So if you look at Missouri, I'm like in the upper part of Missouri. If you look at Missouri, and then Iowa's the state above us, we're right there on the Iowa-Missouri line. So if you can find Arbela, you'll
Arbela.
see me.
Wow.
And it's a town of 40 people, so if you blink, you'll miss it. So that's where I am. I'm in the middle.
And you live on a what we would call probably a small holding, which is a smallish farm.
I live on a farm, a little, I guess you call it a hobby farm, because all we do is raise hay and horses and that sort of, and cats, according to Dad. But yeah, it's 44 acres, and yeah, we enjoy the hell out of it. So yeah,
Cool.
my yard is probably bigger than most people where they live. So
Yeah, well, that's nice. It is nice to be out in the countryside. Your scale, I'm a lot smaller, but it is lovely to be out and about.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I'm in Northern Ireland, a place called Ballymena. I've been pretty much in the middle of Northern Ireland, and I live out in the sticks too. I'm about 7 miles away from the closest town, and a little tiny village a couple of miles away. And we have been out here now for 8 odd years in this month, and we love it out here. It's love. We've got fields all around us, cows at the moment in the field to the side. We have some chickens at the back, and we live in a big bungalow chalet upstairs, downstairs. There's with a load of foster kids, and it's a nice property. So now. While I'm recording this, this is going out up on 4G. I don't have a hardline fibre where we are, so for the last couple of years I've been using a dedicated 4G SIM out here. But on Friday, because we're so far out, it's been difficult. Lots of other roads and lanes around us have had the cable put in.
I know that there, because we didn't get fiber until a couple of years ago. So I understand that one.
So they were pulling cable along our lane, and I didn't think this was going to happen until next year. And literally when Judith and I were going out of the house on separate cars on Friday morning, the guys had to hold the cable up to get our cars underneath. And I said, Judith went on, I stopped, and I said, guys, what is this? Is this new fibre? This is your fibre. So it's not up there. There's big loops on telegraph poles, but it's not. It's coming. So hopefully by the end of the year, I should be able to get a nice big fibre pipe back again.
Good.
Which is so odd because
For the internet, so I'm happy for you.
because when we moved out here, it was one of the things that we did. We searched on British Telecom to see if we could get fibre here, because we had it in the last house, and the British Telecom guys came to install it and went, no, you can't have that here. So we stuck along with a crappy standard line, slow broadband, and up to about 2 years ago, then I came across trying experiment with 4G. So I've got a 4G line in here, a little 4G box, and another one for the house. So the dilemma goes now: do I just get a single line in the house, or get one out here as well? Because I have a cable that runs from here. This is a separate outbuilding here with man cave. There's stores and workshop thing, and then the main house is, I don't know, 50, 60, 80 feet away. So there's a cable runs under the ground. That the oil-fired heating system is out here, and so the heating pipes go under the ground. And I got my builder to use a fiber optic camera to find a way through, and he got a cable through for me. So before I was sharing the 4G internet from the house, but because there's 6 people in there, the 4G gets me about 40 meg, 50 meg at best. And when I was sharing that from the house, it was, as you know, it was kind of tough at times. When I had to go and get everybody to switch everything off. But now that I've got the separate line, it's an awful lot better. So, but if I get a 500 meg line in, I could probably go back to the cable, and still it'll probably be enough for everyone. So I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to work that one out. But yeah, I'm excited to have a hardline again. Saying that, I have it optimized to probably the peak. I can't get it any better than what I have right now, I don't think. And this has been a good solution and very cheap. Like, I'm paying, I think it's 30 quid a month for this, or 25 quid a month for this, for a all you can eat data, just completely unlimited data sim.
Nice.
And that's nothing. And then in the house it's the same thing again. So 50 quid gets me 2 separate lines, and I'll definitely not get my broadband, my ultra fast for that. So yeah, what do you do? Okay, gaming wise then. So you're I'm going to be really rude here, Kim. Here, open my beer. Hi, Phil. You're not a teenager anymore.
No?
Okay, so you've been gaming a while. So how did that all start? Because I'm going to be a sexist pig here. You're a girl, so it's not just as maybe as bad. It's not as bad now. Well, you have every right to be whatever you want, but and all that. No, you don't. That's little shit. Men and women, end of. Yeah. So there's more girl gamers now than ever before. It's becoming more and more mainstream. But you've been a gamer for a long time, so you were very outnumbered way back. But how did the whole gaming thing start with you, and why, and what do you get out of it, and stuff? All those big questions.
Alright, well, I started gaming when I was 14. A friend of ours from St. Louis, his kids had been in gaming off and on for a while, and they had an Atari. Well, he bought them, I think it was a Nintendo or something for Christmas. Well, we got to the habit, he would bring their old consoles up for us when they got new ones. So we started out with the old Atari 6400.
The Woody.
And we had the Pac-Man and all that stuff.
So the old wooden console, the ones that I have above me here. Okay. So the crappy Pac-Man and crappy, yeah.
And all that, and I don't know. At first, I really wasn't interested, and then we all kind of sat around, and of course, it was the new and the shiny, at least for us, anyway. And I don't know. We had this old crappy like console type TV. Of course, we had it hooked up to, and I don't know. It just kind of took off. It was I don't know. Something I guess we all could do, you know.
That was you and your brothers.
Yeah, there was me and my 2 younger brothers at the time, and yeah, we could all kind of sit around there when we weren't fighting over a controller. That we could do, you know, when the weather was crappy outside, you couldn't go out and play or go fishing or something like that. We could all sit around and take turns playing Pac-Man or, you know, whatever there was, adventure and that sort of. Because that's kind of where I started with my RPGs, because we had adventure. And, you know, you were a knight, and you went after they were dragons, but they looked like ducks. And, you know, that was kind of how it all started. And then as the years went on, you know, we played the hell out of that Atari. I can't even tell you how many joysticks and stuff we went through. Or duct tape. We had duct tape.
Yeah. Trying to fix them. Yeah. The click. Yeah.
Because, I mean, it got to a point where you couldn't really buy anymore. So you had to figure out some way to fix them in order to work. And he'd bring, like I said, he brought us the Super Nintendo and stuff like that, and it just kind of kept on. And I think the first actual console we had to buy, because we quit buying his kids consoles because they got out of gaming. So then eventually, you know, we got into PlayStation and that sort of thing, because we were actually PlayStation, I guess you could say, fanboys after a while. And it wasn't until the 360, you know, that's when I got into gaming, because I don't know, they'd all kind of ventured away from it, and I'd won the 360, and it just kind of bit. I don't know.
Oh yeah, okay. So you said you won, but you won it, and is it Doritos? Was that right? Doritos or?
It was in every 10 seconds, and you had to enter all these codes in, and I guess they had some sort of deal where they went through, and if they picked your number, you know, you every 10 seconds they picked a number, and if it was your number, then you won a 360. And my brothers liked Mountain Dew, so of course I made them, you know, give me all the codes, and yeah. So now to this day, they give me crap that their livers are shit because they had to win me at 3. So yeah, and I don't know. It was one of those things that I got stuck in, and I'm disabled, and most everybody knows I have cerebral palsy, and for some odd reason for me, it was nice to sit back and play a game where you could be anything. You weren't held back by anything.
Yeah.
If I wanted to go out and kick ass and take names, fire up the console, put in Metal Gear Solid, and I was a super spy, kick ass, whatever. And I don't know, that's kind of
Okay. So again, I don't want to get too personal, but yes, you have cerebral palsy, but I mean, you are mobile. You are mobile. And somebody always maybe frightened to ask, but you're mobile. It does affect you a little bit. You have a unique gait. yeah. But you still get out and you work with the animals and stuff like that there. But yeah, but it's but you've overcome a lot of that adversity and you've made the most of it as well. Yeah. But I get that. I understand where gaming's a great leveler that way. It doesn't really matter if you're in a wheelchair or disabled or whatever it may be. Yeah.
And then the older I got, and then I got into gaming communities, because like you said, at the time there wasn't a whole lot of girl gamers, and I got a lot of flack because I didn't realize at the time that was such a big thing, and of course my gamer tag being what it is.
Yeah.
Well, that instantly put a target on my back. And but then I got into communities, Lousy at Gaming. I met you guys, and for a chick from a little know-nothing town in the middle of nowhere, to say I have friends in Ireland, and I have friends in England, and I have friends in Canada, and yada yada yada. It's nice.
Isn't it?
So,
Isn't it? It is. It's been unbelievable. Okay, so let's wind back. You got a 360, and then you got online. So how did that come about? Because that's unique. That's I'm going to connect it to this internet thing here and see what happens.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was. I don't really remember if there was really any decision into it. It was just kind of like, well, there's gold, and I can do multiplayer and stuff with it. For some reason, and I don't know why I seem to think that was important, because at the time I didn't have anybody online to multiplayer with. But it just kind of. Like I said, I got to talking to some people at Lousy at Gaming and got started that way, and they're like, oh, well, you should, get online and come play multiplayer with us and this, that, and the other. All right, it really can't be that bad. And, well, yeah, it was a little rough to start, because like I said, being a girl and everything else, I got told on more than one occasion that, I needed to go in the kitchen and make a sandwich, or they were going to do something.
Yeah, you open my beer.
Yeah, or open a beer. Yeah, exactly. So, but it was, like I said, I'm glad I did it. And, because, like I said, here I am now. You wouldn't, maybe you'd guess it, I'm kind of shy. But here I am on a freaking podcast, of all things.
Yeah, just the two of us. Just the two of us.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll never host, so don't get that idea. But, I'm comfortable just sitting here and rambling on with you guys and doing my thing. So who would have thought all those years ago, and this is where I would be now.
So, you mentioned Lousy at Gaming,
Yes.
and online multiplayer, and I kind of think those two things, not just Lousy at Gaming, but those two things really came together at the same time. Multiplayer gaming and gaming podcasts proper. So the likes of this here and G4T, Overseas Connection,
Gaming forums and all that.
yeah.
It's big,
Yeah, I mean that all sort of kicked off at the same time in all those communities, and it's lovely. I mean, there's Veteran Gamers last week had their 600th episode. We are on 639. Holy crap! And now, Kim, I mean, I still consider myself like the new guy here at times. I sort of, you sort of catch yourself sometimes to go, yeah, but it's like more than 300 or 400 episodes now that we've all been there, so or longer. I don't know exactly even. So and okay, well that's cool. All right, that's good. So okay, so my story, I suppose, I am a biological boy. So for me, gaming. Let me see. primary school. So yeah, in primary school, that's from 5 until about 11 years old. So that's your there's 7 years there. You had a thing called there was you were encouraged to open a bank account, and every week you brought 50 pence in. So I don't know, 50 cents, your case or whatever it was, and that went in, and that savings went in there, and you got access to that savings when you were 12 years old. And generally, that's roughly around the time you leave primary school in the UK and you go to high school. So that money bought my first computer, and I bought a ZX Spectrum, which is a UK-based little rubber keyboard, 8-bit computer, which was cassette tapes to load everything in. And it's fab. So, so there was that there. But even before that, my parents had a mobile home, a caravan in the place close to where I was today, a place called Portrush, and it was a seaside town, and there was several arcades there, and that was the heyday of. I was just old enough then. I would have been, I suppose, when Space Invaders came around '78. I would have been 8 years old, so 9 years old when that Space Invaders first hit, and for me, I remember Space Invaders so well, because it was that deep boom 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 boom, that deep the arcade cabinet, the bass in it was superb, and I would watch guys that were really really good in the arcades. You'd watch over their shoulder at how good they were at this, because they were just fantastic. And the thing about it was a bit like pool in those days. You would put your 10 pence piece on the glass on the side, sort of to book the next game, sort of thing. Like pool table, you used to set your money on. It was the same sort of idea, and you would almost be fighting over them. So at my parents' caravan in Portrush, come end of school term, my parents would have me up there when I was young, and I would spend all summer in this seaside town, and my mum and dad would come up for a couple of weeks, and then my aunts and uncles would come up for a couple of weeks, and my granny would come up for a couple of weeks, and and uncles and stuff, and I would stay the whole summer, but and stay in the caravan, but they would share the caravan, and then my parents would finish off. So I spent my childhood there, and I'm very fond of that part of the world. But I was pretty much every day, every week, you got to know the guys that owned the arcades, and every week at that stage, they were probably into it just as much as I was, because they were getting all of the new consoles. You're always in to see what was next. It was Space Invaders, and then Asteroids, and then the sit down Vector. Star Wars was just so much money in it. Then all the variants of Space Invaders, like Space Firebird and Galaxians and Gorf, and every one of those, I could make them sing. So that was my grounding in gaming, and then it went from that to that first little computer, the ZX Spectrum. I missed all of that whole Nintendo thing, that whole consoles and bits and pieces, and probably I did have the Woody Atari, and we did have a Binatone Pong machine at the time, and I had a Woody Atari that I bought off a school friend, but that was in high school. But my first proper computer was the Spectrum, and then things like the Commodore 64 and the Amiga, and onwards then to computers, where I missed all of that. Probably my first console was just when Judith and I got married. That's 25 years ago. It was a PlayStation 1, and I had it chipped and played all the dodgy games on it, and then a PlayStation 2, and then no gaming for a few years, but then in my business that was there, it was all PC gaming, PC, and that was for me, Quake was my multiplayer first experience for gaming, and again online communities. And it wasn't podcast back then, it was bulletin boards and chat forums, and there was quite a few Northern Ireland chat forums, and there was guys there. There was some of my friends one of them in particular worked in this little computer shop, and I bought some computers from them, and again it was those places you went every week to see what was new. And this guy, remember it was in Belfast, going down into the computer shop and sitting at night time and connecting half a dozen modems together and getting people to dial in to us, and then we multiplayer gamed. And he left that little computer company and set up a company called DirectNet Access, DNA, and started one of the most successful dial-in companies, internet companies in Northern Ireland, who was bought out by a massive company. And I remember him coming down to I had an internet business before the internet was called the internet. We built, set up people's emails, built some computers, but he came down to me in this brand new Lotus after he had sold his company to see, hey Rob, how you doing? So yeah, those online things turned into, that was Quake. And then myself and some of those guys set up online tournaments, and then a group of us got together. I think the first group was maybe 6 of us, and we met in this guy's office, and we brought our computers along, and we networked the cables and played Quake all day long. And then the next meeting, maybe a month later, maybe there was 20 of us in his office, and then my office and warehouses, and then maybe there was 50 people, and it was all over the place, and cables going everywhere, because there was no Wi-Fi or anything like that back then.
Yeah, right.
And then we done a Northern Ireland Championship, and we done land meets, so we done several of these. And I think the first one we had 80 odd people at it in a hotel. I was working in the hotel restaurant trade, or supply of equipment, and we had the whole top floor of this hotel big ballroom that I managed to do deals with, and there was 79 or 78 people. You imagine 78 speakers, 78 computers, old CRT monitors everywhere. It was called Quake Championships, and we done about 4 or 5 of those. I think the biggest one, I think I had about 170 people, and again everybody brought their computer, and myself and all these whizzes had, we were sitting for days and days and days making network cables, and we had this rack of hubs and servers and all the bits and pieces, and that was Quake, and then Half-Life multiplayer, and things like games like Motorhead, which were based on the Quake engine, like car racing games. And that was me. That was me thoroughly into gaming and all of that multiplayer stuff. And then I sort of got away. I'd sold my business, my internet business, and a few years later, and then I bought the little PlayStation. And then I bought we moved house, and I bought a 360. And started to play again. I found my gaming mojo again, and I joined in at the time, just the time when Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty came out, and that was my game. And I leveled up. What was it called? What do they call it when you level up? You prestiged, I don't know, 5-6 times on Modern Warfare 2, and then you started, as you did back then, to search for podcasts, because you gaming podcast, whatever it meant. You came through a few crappy ones, and I found Veteran Gamers, and I always remember writing into them, and then Chinny called me out because he looked through my gamer score and seen that I played lots of games but didn't finish any, and all I was playing Call of Duty, and called me out on it. And I started to play different games. Then I started to play things like Gears and Mass Effect and different things that people recommended me, and then I was thoroughly hooked again. And that was it. Our old buddy then, gaming and podcasts, goodness, I was invited to do a wee bit on G4TE Overseas Connection. It was like a 2-minute, it was like Bongo's Bits thing. It was like 2 or 3 minutes, pre-recorded thing that I used to send in, and then I came on, and there we are. That's gaming. That was us.
Right?
So it's something that's always been from from back from high school, even there was like we had our computer suite back then, and there was 2 Apple Euro Plus computers, green screens,
Yep.
and on a Monday at break time in school, you had to go to the computer studies department and write your name up for. You had to book your time, so in at lunch times or after school. And there was a fight over it who had to get that time. So that was my first sort of real experience of computing, and I just couldn't get enough. And it's always something from that point, from Space Invaders, from that very point to where we are now. It's been something that's always been part of my life, and now I am now 52 years old, and that started at 8 years old. Probably, 8 years old.
15 and 43 now.
So
it's been a while.
Yeah. So it's something that's always been consistent with me. It's always been there in some shape or form. Sometimes maybe a bit in the background, but it's always been there. And now I have some of my best friends. In fact, I do have my best friends on the planet here, and I've been lucky enough, apart from yourself yet, Kim. To meet with some fantastic people, and from video gaming, and talking shit. It's been great. And what's lovely about it, not just us on a personal level, because we've all become good friends now, and we don't talk every day. We do chat every day, and then we're never more than probably 2 hours away from a WhatsApp message from any of us.
Exactly.
But it's not just us as a group, but there's so many people within the community that has came along with us, and you can't name them. You name people, but too much. But people like Matt and Amar and Mr. Miyagi out in Australia, and there's so many people have came on this journey with us, and I know how I feel or felt about veteran gamers guys. Eric and Osha, I've been lucky to meet. As well, and Stu and Chinny, when they were rock stars,
Right.
and getting to meet them, you were kind of like in awe. And it was all small little pool and pond, but meeting some of the guys from the 360 Gamer Cast, meeting Fraser, that Canadian nutball, and meeting. There's so many people that we've got to meet, and it's been lovely, and. I feel very, very privileged. I know we're ranting on a wee bit here, but I think it's it's been a really good part of our lives.
I'm glad it showed us mine, because if I'm sitting here thinking about what my life would have been like if you guys weren't in it, I don't know. It seems a little sad. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that it didn't go that way.
Cheers, Kim.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm glad you took the plunge to come on as well and do this here.
Right?
Because I know.
Yeah, I know. The day Mark and Nicole asked me about it, because of course I did a podcast with Lousy Gaming, and to be
Yeah.
truthfully honest about it,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I didn't like podcasting really, because like I said, you couldn't tell it by the shit I post on like Twitter, but I am kind of shy, and if I don't know you real well, it takes me a little while to warm up to you, and you probably think I'm a bitch, but eventually I get there. And
All the time.
yeah, Mark and Nicole were just like, you want to be on our podcast? And of course, I've followed you guys on Twitter, because I think I've answered quizzes and stuff before, and I think I won some money one time or another. So I followed you. I knew who you were, but I've never really talked to you guys. So I'm a bit nervous as to, they've been doing it forever, and I just come off of a failed podcast that I didn't really like doing. You sure you want me? And they're like, yeah, sure, okay. I'm like, I'll try it. And they're like, you don't like it, or you don't want to do it, you're not gonna make us mad or anything, and here I am, show 639. I don't even remember what show number I started on, but it's been years now, and it feels like forever. So, and I'm still here, and it amazes me some days where I sit here and I ramble and whatever, and I'm like, I can't believe you guys, didn't kick me off or didn't tell me to get lost or, whatever. So,
There you go. There you go. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad. I'm so happy about it. So and I hope to continue to do it until I either fall off the seat or can't see or can't hear. I don't know.
right?
I can't imagine never not being gaming. You know, I watch my boys now, Kim, and they're more advanced than me in different ways. Where I think gaming has become more refined now, or so Charlie at this moment in time, there's two main loves. He does play other stuff, but his two main loves are driving. He's taken the driving rig that I have, and he's got into some really good racing leagues now, and he's doing pretty well. So he's driving mad, and he's really into his flight simulators as well. So, and he loves flying, and that's something he would like to do. And so he has all the yokes and the dials and all the bits and pieces.
All
But
the
it,
fancy stuff. Yep.
yeah, but when I caught him with it one night last week, and Jasmine woke up at 2:30 in the morning, and I had to settle her, and I go into, I see there's a light on coming from under his door,
Yep.
and he's sitting there in his driving rig about to start. Says, Dad, I'm just about to start a race. Says, Charlie, it's friggin' you're 15. It's 2:30 in the morning. You're starting a race. Well, it was supposed to start at 12, but it was delayed. I don't know. So as a one-off, fair enough. You know, he's off school now, but yeah. So it's refined. Where Joshua's gaming is even more. You know, he's really enjoyed some different types of games, and those big, massive multiplayer online things. What are the big? What's the big one that we win so much money online? Guild Wars or Guild? What is it? The big esports games. Yeah, League of Legends. League of Legends. That sort of stuff. He's really into that sort of stuff as well. So I'm lost with that stuff there, really. So you know, no, great. You know, and then when we were in the restaurant yesterday, I had, for some reason or other, I had the little brand new anniversary edition Game and Watch thing with me. So it has Super Mario Brothers 1 and 2 on it, and I handed it to Jasmine, who is three and a bit years old, and she's sitting at the table just pressing buttons now, getting going. Yeah, this is where it begins.
Yep.
This is so very soon. 3.5, 4. Minecraft is probably coming soon there, and goodness knows
By the time I got Tony started, I gave him an old busted controller, so when I played,
he sort of sat along with you.
And you know, like I said, now he's beating Gears 5, and I still haven't even got that one finished yet. I mean, he's beating games that I'm still dicking around trying to finish, and it's like, okay, you can slow down now.
And sometimes I catch myself going, oh, screen time and stuff like that there, and it's really bad. And when I was a kid, I didn't have that really, and we played with Lego and Meccano or whatever it may be, and now these kids are just watching the TV. And yes, part of that is bad, but at the same time, Minecraft is the new Lego, really.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. And Tony loves Minecraft. I can't. I'll admit it. I can't get into it. It puts me to sleep. I just can't. But he loves it. He enjoys it, and I bought him skins and stuff for him, so.
Okay, there you go. Hold on a second. I'm going to. Oh, hold on. Greg DeLacy.
Our fearless leader has showed up.
He did, but I didn't call him in. How do I add him? Say it will completely mess up the feed. Add. How do you do that? Oh, plus. Greg. Sorry about this, everybody. As I just add Mr. DeLacy, if I can. I have all switched off. Let's see if he comes in. Sorry about this, people. But what do you do?
Don't be sorry. It's that much better now.
Oh, wow.
I don't know about that. I think we did.
Okay.
Did Italy win yet?
I have no idea. Probably when I left, Greg, it was just before half time, and England were up 1-0. But
It's 1-1 now.
okay, but I was going to say it looked 50-50. It looked like it could go either way, Greg. So yeah. How you doing, buddy? You just must be in through the door. You were in Reno.
Literally in the door, throwing bags on the floor, jumped to the podcast. I felt bad about not making it, but at least I'm here for the last part of it.
That's okay. It's no problem. Yeah.
So what all have you guys covered so far?
Well, we pretty much a lot. I mean, we there's no real news that we wanted to really talk about, so we've went through all the other bits and pieces. And for the last half hour, I think we've been just chatting about how we started gaming, why we started gaming, where that all came from, and how that linked in then to the dawn of podcasts and how we found each other, and how wonderful it is for most people apart from just generally people who wear tank tops, as you know. But apart from that, you know, it's been really, really cool, and it's been a really good chat actually. Just, you know, but it's good.
Well, let me just throw some 2 cents, because I was actually thinking about this ironically. When you two were taking over the podcast for this weekend, I was thinking to myself, you know, it is funny. One, Robert, are you drinking that straight out of the bottle?
What? Miller?
I thought that was Gentleman Jack Black Label.
Oh, Frank, yeah. I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was actually thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm like, I think back to when both of you were coming onto the show, or being talked about even coming on the show. And I'll start with Robin. You, Robin, it was funny because I was like, I don't know if this is going to work.
Really? Oh,
I
wow.
don't know if he has the personality. And the funny thing was, your personality, you were very reserved early on. Like you were a little on the more quiet side. You were trying to be.
Wow.
You did not have a lot of flexibility to you, as I recall.
Wow.
It's kind of funny. And then, like, you know, you obviously came out of your shell. In more ways than one. EGX.
Dude.
And then Kim, you absolutely were, I almost want to say, a little bit terrified to podcast. You were like, I don't know, and we had Nicole on, and I think Nicole was a little bit of that gateway for you to feel a little more comfortable. And so I remember you were coming on the show, and you were very quiet. We had, you know, probe you and ask you questions to get you to talk. And now
Lots of probing.
You know, yeah, lots of probing. We're you know, alien abductions. But yeah, now you're totally comfortable in your skin, being on the podcast, and not afraid to chime in and give your opinions about things. And obviously you have a lot to say about the games that you play. And so, but it has been fun to watch the two of you kind of grow into the podcasters you guys have become. So that was, and it was funny because I mean I literally was thinking about that on my drive up to Reno this weekend. So I don't know if you covered that. I'll just say real fast. I went to Reno to see my folks, my mother-in-law. It was kind of a big get together, and so wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go or not. It all ended up working out last minute. So I was like, I'm on the podcast. I'm not on the podcast. I'm not on the podcast. I'm on the podcast. But yeah, so here I am. I literally just walked in the door, threw all the bags down, fired up the computer, and wanted to jump on and at least say hello and thank you for both of you for carrying on our tradition of being here every Sunday, except for, you know, apocalyptic holidays.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I figured, you know, I haven't been on here for like the last 3 shows, so I figured I had to make an appearance, but people were going to start talking that maybe you fired me or I quit or, you know, whatever. So,
Yeah, you know, there was scuttlebutt. It was
apparently I'm
like
a Pornhub Gold member. I didn't know, but that's
congratulations.
I have nothing to do with it.
Excessive hours automatically grant you gold status.
Yeah, so
my payback for not opening beer, I guess. So.
yeah, so then we can ask you the same question because we had lengthy answers. How did you start gaming, Greg, and how did that lead you to where you are now? So you know, for example, I mean, I was the original Space Invaders boy when it first came out. When I was there to watch it being the plastic being wrapped off it in an arcade. And then to consoles, to that, to Call of Duty, to podcasting, listening to being an active emailer, to being on the show, where Kim was hand-me-down consoles
Right.
to everybody left home, and she bought won a 360 by drinking Mountain Dew, and then one day plugging it into online, and then that's her journey with Lousy Gamers.
Okay.
So
Yeah, well, so it's funny. I didn't think back on my gaming journey has been, especially early on, was a lot of kind of ups and downs. I mean, we started. My first introduction to gaming was we had a Pong console.
yeah, that's
the
too.
original
Yeah,
Pong
yeah,
console.
yeah.
And but I did not take to gaming really then. Then the Atari 2600 came out, and I never really owned one early on. My friends had one, so I'd go hang out with them. We'd play, and I started to like it. But again, was never like super into the Atari 2600, only because the fantasy of what they were offering and the reality of what they were offering were so totally different.
Yeah.
I think games more about the cover art of the box
Mm.
than I did the actual game. And so then it fell off. And then in high school, I kind of came back into gaming a little bit. My buddy had television. We had Intelligent Baseball, and we used to play baseball. We would have tournaments amongst my buddies, and we would just play baseball tournaments. And so that kind of was getting me back into it. And then I kind of got back out of gaming. Didn't really play games for quite a while. And then first marriage, I got into Magic, Might and Magic on PC, and then Rainbow Six, and that was Mech Warrior. Kind of came back into the realm, and so I really started getting into gaming there. Got into PlayStation, and that's really I think where it took off. And then from there, I got into Xbox, and Xbox honestly. So here's the fun story. I originally was absolutely on the PlayStation bandwagon. The Xbox was coming out, and I was like, whatever. Halo, whatever, big deal. And one of my buddies had an Xbox and went over to his place, and we were hanging out, drinking one night, and he fires up the Xbox, and I was like, holy shit, that looks really good. And he was playing, I think Bloodwake was one of the original games I saw for the Xbox, but I was like, this is really good.
Huh.
So, and then I was going back to my PlayStation, and I had experienced Halo, playing it on his console, and I went to the PlayStation, and I was like, there's no good first-person shooters that work. And I think I was in the PS2 at the time, and so I just ended up getting myself an Xbox, and then I got into, with the Xbox 360, we had a group of guys I met online playing Gears of War. We would play Gears of War all the time. And so Gears of War and Steel Battalion, I literally bought myself a racing seat cockpit, not to race, but I built it, and I bought basically 2 pods for holding throttle and flight controls, and I used it to play Ace Combat, and then of course the big Steel Battalion controller. I still had my Xbox at the time for playing that, but yeah, I used my racing cockpit for Ace Combat and Flight Sims. So yeah, and then I find myself here today. On the podcasting front of it, we talked about it before. I was a big fan of an old podcast series called The Couch Mercenaries, which once in a while JF Graton shows up in the chat. So it was, they had a podcast going, and there was another podcast called The Video Game Jocks, which I still think is out there today. But I would listen to those podcasts, and in particular, on the on the Couch Mercenaries, somebody had called in, and they were basically doing like a call-in kind of segment, and I thought I could do that, and I could do that better. And so I started doing my own segment, and it was called Murphy's Shots, and I would put it together.
Murphy's Shots. Yeah.
And then eventually I thought, why not just make my own podcast? And so started talking with Christopher Matthew and
Wow.
Mike Chin, and so that was part of the founding group although Chris Matthew wasn't really an original founder, but like Richard Webster was part of that. So I mean, it was a whole kind of conglomeration. But that was also with the O3 Tribes, and so yeah, a lot of history there.
It's good, isn't it? Isn't it funny? And what we've said is it's been fabulous that we've met some fabulous people online, and we wouldn't know what we'd do without it. And we've been lucky, not Kim yet, but being able to meet several times. Some of us now in the flesh, literally in the flesh, and it's been fabulous. It's been a great part of my life, and I wouldn't want to be without it.
No, 100%. You know, I think about all of the friendships I have made, both people I have been able to fortunately meet in person, but also just the people I know from online.
Yeah.
Kim, Nicole, you know, these are individuals that I might never have a chance to be friends with, and it's been online gaming that's brought that all together. It made the world smaller, if that makes sense, and we could be neighbors. You know, we might not be able to clink a beer at happy hour, but we can have happy hour together.
Mm.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, look, when you have a weather app on your phone and you have different people's states on the phone or parts of the world, which and you're looking at to see what Greg's weather's like, or Nicole's weather like, or Kim's weather's like, yeah, and you're going, Judith, look at the bloody temperature that Kim's getting. Holy crap, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's when you say, "Thank God we live in Ireland."
Oh, yeah.
You would know.
okay, all right, well that's good. We've been through games that we've played. Did you play? Have you?
I'm going to make you go back to games.
Yeah. So have you played stuff?
I have, and I want to in particularly talk about Rage 2.
Oh wow.
I have been playing this just like nonstop. I decided to fire it up. I played it a long time ago, and for whatever reason, I never was able to quite get into it. It had decent reviews at the time, but it never, I think, broke through to be a real considered to be a hit. I've been playing it. I have absolutely this to me, Rage 2 absolutely delivers on the promise of the original Rage.
Yeah. The first one was really good. Apart from there was unnecessary and unfinished component parts. Like there was a car racing part of it, which really I'm sure somebody thought it was a good idea, and it was part of a bigger story of like Mad Maxing your car, but it didn't really fit in anywhere. And then the levels were beautiful, the weapons were fantastic, but it's like they ran out of time. Where I remember the point where I had to start to come back through levels again. You know, you had to go, you backtrack through and
Yeah, and they had those like loading screens. Like you would go through like a gate. So
yeah,
to speak.
you had to drive to here, drive to there.
Yeah. So that's all gone. Everything is seamless. You just drive wherever you want to go. The weapons are all fantastic. Again, they have, you know, the crazy weapons. You have your wing stick, which is basically a boomerang. A lot of different upgrades and crafting. So, you know, again, talking about a game that's got a lot of deep systems. And I think maybe this is why it put me off a little bit to begin with, because it is a little overwhelming. And this is one of the biggest problems I have with almost every open world game.
Kind of like the Witcher's menu system.
Yeah, it's so much, so fast.
Okay.
Yep.
But I kind of just got back into it, and I re-stuck with it, and I've been really glad I have. I've been very much enjoying it. They had a nice upgrade to the game on Series X in that the system now does auto HDR, and so the game just looks that much nicer, and it runs really smooth. And so, you know, it runs better than it ran on the previous generation consoles. So
Okay.
I think that also helps. And the story's good. It's not bad. And I don't anticipate a cliffhanger ending like the first one had, which also really pissed me off. I still remember that. It's like you walked into the Ark and it was like the game is finished.
I don't see.
Kinda like,
I finished it, but I don't even remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so highly recommend recommend checking back into Rage 2 if you have it. It's on Game Pass, obviously.
Wow.
So there's that. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, good.
Good stuff. I did want to talk briefly about the Sony State of Play. If you guys didn't.
Oh no, I didn't watch it. No, yeah, no. We've done no news.
So, yeah, I watched the Sony State of Play, and there were a few games that came out of that were pretty interesting. I think Fist was one, Kim, you and I both said we thought looked pretty interesting. This is the one that has, it's with animals, and I'm forgetting the premise of it.
It's a fisting animals.
Yes, fisting animals. That's the whole premise of the game. No. It's kind of like a science fiction fantasy type setting. I don't want to say it's Biomutant, but it is kind of.
Kind of that way,
Gives me
yeah.
some Biomutant vibes. I think it's a side-scrolling game, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what it looked like in the trailer.
Yeah. So, so very different in that respect, but give me half a second. I'm going to pull up the Sony State of Play
Okay.
so I can get all the games. But yeah, so the side-scrolling stuff, I thought that was interesting. That's February. That's not it's out. We want the one from 2 days ago. Okay. So then they had. They came out and they showed Moss 2, or Moss Book 2, which is
Yes.
a VR game. I don't know why this is a VR game.
I don't either.
It's a game where you play a little mouse in a fantasy-like setting. You are, I should say, fantasy RPG type setting. It looks like it's a third-person action game, and I
Yes.
think the way you control it is using VR. You kind of almost are doing mouse clicks to make Moss go in those areas. I don't know for sure. I've never played the first one, obviously, and I don't know. But some people seem to have liked it. But I mean, to me, I just kept thinking, why not just make this a controller game?
Yeah. I would totally play it if they did. Just saying.
Yeah. There was a game called Arcadegeddon,
Yep.
which looks like a Fortnite kind of clone.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. I don't like Fortnite, so this is not a game for me. And I think if you're trying to go up against Fortnite, good luck. Then there was Tribes of Midgard. This looks pretty interesting. This is the Viking kind of third-person action.
Survival sort of thing.
But it's my understanding is it has kind of RPG element, multiplayer elements, if that
Yes.
makes sense. So you play with other people, you can collaborate together on building up your fort, and reinforcing it against the giants of the world and other rival, imagine, rival player factions. Looks interesting. Again, not sure the game itself would actually be something I want to play, but I liked the vibe it gave off, like the visual elements of it. I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. Then, okay, Fist Forged in Shadow. So Fist stands for, Forged in Shadow Torch.
Forged in Shadow Torch. Okay.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows if it'll actually be good or not? There was Hunter's Arena Legends, which I think I missed this. It looks very Japanesey on the surface, so I probably would miss it regardless. The game Sifu, S-I-F-U. This actually is starting to look good to me. This is the karate game they showed off the last State of Play. People were kind of like, I mean, graphically, it's nothing to write home about.
Mm-hmm.
But movement-wise, it looks like it runs pretty smooth, and it looks like it can, like, there's complexity to the fighting. So I'm really kind of curious. I want to see more from Sifu. I believe it is coming out on PC as well. I don't think this is an exclusive to Sony, so we'll see. Then there was the game Jet the Far Shore. Isometric spaceship game. At first I thought it was going to be like, oh god, what was the game that came out where you get your ship and you travel all over the world? And apologies, I'm like trying to rattle this off the cuff. The game that everybody got really pissed off because it didn't.
Oh, No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Viva Pinata?
That's
No
what it
Man's
reminded
Sky
me.
at
Yeah.
first.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
But
what it
it's
reminded me
not.
of.
Yeah, it's an isometric view of your ship. It's not first person. It doesn't seem like it has any kind of survival elements to it. It's just exploration, which I mean, it could be very cool. Maybe it's a little bit of a journey combined with No Man's Sky. Because at first I was getting Journey vibes to it, but then I saw the ships and stuff, so I'm like, okay, no, maybe not. A game I have absolutely zero desire, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yabi, the Hinokami Chronicles. That's a mouthful to say, first off. And yeah, Demon Slayer, it's so Japanese anime.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like ridiculously anime and to the point that I'm just like, no, then we saw a trailer for Lost Judgment. It's Yakuza. It's Yakuza, but instead of being part of the Yakuza, you are an attorney, basically. I think it's kind of almost Ace Ventura, or not Ace Ventura, Ace Attorney-like, in that you're trying to solve these cases. There's investigation elements, but then they have all these crazy, stupid Yakuza-like, very Japanese-y side games, things. There's karaoke, there's, doing jobs and things like that. And I was just, again, it's not a game. Shame in saying that. Apparently, it's getting a lot of buzz. People said it looked great. I didn't think it looked particularly great. I think it looks no better or no worse than some of the older Yakuza games. So we'll see. That comes out September 24th for PS4 and PS5. Death Stranding's director's cut was officially. Well, I guess it's officially announced. It's already really been announced, but I mean, they kind of further showed that off. Yay.
Yeah, right.
Apparently, this is just for the PS5, and it will up the ante on some of the visuals. There's some new skins. There's some new weapons. There's they've added some content into the game, so you will have to upgrade and pay for it, whether it's $10 if you're just upgrading from the PS4 to the PS5, or if you're buying it new, I think it's $30 to buy on the PS5, but it's not coming to the PS4. You have to play this on PS5. And then the last one, which was Deathloop, which we've known about. That's the now Microsoft Bethesda Studios game coming to the PlayStation 5 for 1 year of exclusivity. And that was reconfirmed, so it will be a year exclusive. It will, I think, come off exclusivity September 22nd or something like that in 2022. But looks good. I still need to see more from this game before I can get super excited for it. But the developers, Arcane, they're the ones that did. Yes, Dishonored 1 and 2. So I mean, they've got good pedigree. Those were good games.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what it reminded me a lot of was Dishonored. Looking at it because of course, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I know. I look at it, and apparently, when you die, you restart, and you know what you knew previously before you died, and I get that, but I'm just in there. I'm one of those people, especially when shooter type games, I die a lot, so I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing for me. I don't know.
It might be a plus, because I mean, if you're supposed to die.
All right. So I don't know. I'm like you. I have to wait and see more. I'm not sure I'm sold on it yet. So, but it looks good. I'm just not sure if it's going to be a game for me. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was the show. It was a quick half-hour show. There weren't really any megatons dropped or anything like that. I think it was interesting, worth noting. Sony immediately after they announced the state of play, they also followed it up with do not expect to see any new gameplay from it or any new announcements on any big acquisitions. I mean, they basically kind of said temper your expectations, and they
Yep.
put it out so straightforward. It was like, expect nothing more than what we're telling you we're going to give you, which is an update on Deathloop, a deeper dive into looking at, and then some, a few more games that are coming this year, and that was the extent of it. So,
Okay. As far as football is you're concerned, it is full time. They've had extra time, and it's 1 goal each, and it has now went to penalties. So there'll be a short break on the game, and that's it down to the almost luck of the draw penalty shootout. So,
so here's my take real quickly.
horrible way to end the game.
I think it's a horrible way, especially for a finals.
Mm-hmm.
To me,
They should keep going until they fall apart.
yeah, but maybe you make them instead of 45-minute halves, you could do 20-minute quarters.
Yep.
Or just 20-minute periods.
Yeah.
It really would be quarters, but just say, you know what, you're to play an extra 20 minutes. If nobody can win by then, you can play an extra 20 minutes.
They shoot the lowest player. So so the highest number, the lowest player, he gets shot. That would really encourage them to go on.
Or for every extra period,
Mhm.
you remove one player off the field.
Yeah, that
So
okay.
if you kept going at one
Or
point, you would
add a player to the field.
have something.
Yeah, there's something. But rather than penalties is crap. It really is.
That disappoints me.
Because it is. I'm not a football fan. I think it's a stupid game. I think everybody all fighting over the one ball. They should have one each. It would stop the fighting. But it just seems like it's a bit random. It is a bit 50-50 sort of stuff. And I know there's skill in the penalty, and there's mind games, and the pressure and the tension will be building now. But it just seems a bit random. Anyway. That's almost a show. We're going to wrap this up right now. I haven't called the winner of Victory Achieved, and I locked myself out of Twitter. You probably got a notification on your phone.
I did see that, yeah.
Twat.
I was wondering, is someone trying to hack our Twitter?
Yeah. So we're going to have to finish that off next week. We can say we're going to wrap this up now. We do this every single week. If you want to be part of the show, it's been quiet tonight because people have been watching the footy and doing all of the things, and it is now officially the summer. So if you want to watch us live on Twitter, Twitch every week at twitch.ocpodcast, Facebook as well. We're on there as well, facebook.ocpod.com. And you can email the show. We love emails at podcast@ocpod.com. We also have very, very active WhatsApp groups and all sorts of subjects. So if you want to be part of the general chat, which is gaming, retro gaming, life, love, all that sort of stuff.
Fun, happiness.
Yeah. Contact us and we'll get you into those groups. They're friendly, they're nice. There's not, there's gentlemen's and gentle ladies agreements not to be nasty to each other. They're very supportive and good groups. There's a gentle politics group if you want to be part of that. So contact any of us in the show and we'll get you brought into there. Okay, so please leave us a review. If you don't know us, don't frig me. If you don't know us by now, you're not black. Oh God, who put that in the notes? Oh dear. Okay. Kim, anything you'd like to say before we go?
No, I'm glad to be back though. I've missed you fellas for the last 3 weeks, so I'm glad to be back.
Didn't realize you were gone.
I figured, but yeah. Hopefully the rain stops. I might be building an ark soon if it doesn't, and hopefully everybody has a good week this week. So yeah.
Lorraine? Who's Lorraine? Does Cindy know about Lorraine?
12 hours.
We don't get rain anymore.
Oh.
I'll take you by your answer. I'm tired of it. Oh, I've got a lake in my yard, so yeah.
Why don't I go? Yeah, I suppose I can go next.
Yeah, go for it.
Robin, thank you for taking over hosting duties multiple weeks, especially this week. I know it kind of came up last minute. letting me join late. I do appreciate that. Need to shout out my wife. Apparently, I kept her up all night last night snoring. I had a few too many brown and ginger ales, and apparently I was putting the acoustic ceiling to the test. That probably was bringing the whole hotel down. But yeah, it happens. I love Italian food. Let's go, Robin.
Yeah, Kim, I really enjoyed the chat tonight. That was really good. It's nice. Yeah, it was real, you know. And everybody that'll be listening to the show later on, I think Baron Von Glor popped into the chat. Thank you very much for doing that. To everybody that listens to the show, to my wife and the girls at @_love Sure and Foster on Instagram, which is going from strength to strength and getting severely left behind. I used to think I was the nerd in the house, but these guys and I are just unbelievable. To Galgorm Manor, we were at the spa earlier on this week and we had a wonderful time. Greg, I was thinking about you as I was swimming in that pool where you took me from behind, and it was fabulous. So thank you very much for listening. Please tune in next week. We will be back. Enjoy your summery weather, and good luck to England and good luck to Italy. And the first score, the first penalty has been scored by Italy. So over the next few minutes, you'll know, and I will leave you in suspenders, and we will get out of here. So goodbye, everybody. Thanks very much for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.